All right, there we go. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday Night Comics. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, the days are getting shorter. It's night earlier. I don't know about some of the other places, but wherever you are, hope you're having a good time and hope you're ready for comics. So it's the We Believe in Comics Friday Night Workshop series at the Sequential Artist Workshop, or SAW. Oh, we have a new official sort of totemistic animal. This deer showed up 2 weeks ago, right outside my window when I was hosting 2 weeks ago, and so we don't have a name for her yet, but that's our totemistic welcoming animal for the fall. Anyway, we also had a write-up in Radical Teacher magazine. I'll put the link in the chat. Pretty cool. Um, so when the mainstream media comes, I'll send you links to that too. But right now it's non-mainstream. Okay, anyway, so we're a nonprofit, if you hadn't heard. We have lots of classes and courses at sawcomics.org. You can learn more about everything. In fact, we have a comics activism coming up with Maureen Burdock that starts November 15th, I think, but might be a week earlier. I forget. Next week in this slot, we have Vivian Shu with Nightmare Comics because it's Halloween, y'all, next week. So I'll be indoors uh, on this. Also, if you've got some ideas for some courses, you can let us know. Go to sawcomics.org. There's a little form there. Also, it's still Sawtober, and if you go into our network, some people are doing robots and spooky creatures and fortune tellers and things like that this week. Want to thank anybody who donated. It really helps keep these events free. It helps us pay the instructors. It helps us keep scholarships going for people for our larger programs, and it really just helps a lot. We appreciate it. It helps us from not being a one-way bank, as Popeye says. Um, all right, we'll get started. Please no inappropriate speech or imagery, no trolling or hate speech. Let's keep it PG-13. Join us to share with the hashtag Friday Night Comics, and at Comics Workshop is our tagline or whatever you call those, our handle. Marek Bennett is Marek Bennett. I'll put that in the chat. And you can join us at members.sawcomics.org. Also, we ask you to remember that these are 90 minutes. So as we get down to about 87 minutes from now, um, we may have to cut off some of the sharing if we go long, but there are lots of ways to share, including our weekly PDFs, which we put on Seesaw Comics every week. They look like this, and they just are great, great archives of some of the work that we do here. So enjoy. And yay, we are here for Story Plus One, which means what? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I'm so glad Marek's here again, and I'm so glad I get to be the MC this time. Also, I know Marek will probably mention it. Kickstarter is live with 2 days left for Freeman Colby Volume 4. I've already backed it. I think everybody should back it because it's a brilliant, beautiful series. I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to you, Marek. Are you ready to be
Oh,
spotlit and large on everybody's screen?
I'm being spotlit, transcribed, streamed, recorded.
Summarized.
I also have an old dog snoring in the corner here, so
Oh
that's
gosh, so
one.
cute.
Yeah, hi everybody. Good evening. Nice to be back with Saw. I think we did this about a year ago or 13 or 14 months ago.
Like that.
Um, so thanks for inviting me back, Tom. Great to see everybody tonight. And let's make some comics together. So yeah, my name's Marek. I've been a lifelong cartoonist and comics artist. I really got serious about it about 20 years ago when I had the opportunity to teach a summer program with just, I think we had 14 kids in that first summer program. And it was just a life-changing week of comics making. And I just realized, wow, comics are great to do with people in community. And comics, we need more comics in schools. So I've since then I've been building up programs that can go into schools and libraries and teach people how to make comics, teach everybody how to make comics. Um, so I think what I'll do, I have my little advice comic. I don't remember if I started with this before, but I make a lot of mini comics with my students. They're just one sheet comics. Folks did that. We did that last time. We folded up the paper. A lot of us did, made an 8-page comic there. So I'll just do that as a little keynote piece. And I think the best way to do it is to share my screen. So hopefully you can see my desktop here. And this one I call Advice for Cartoonists, and I can post a link to it in the chat, but just the first couple pages will be good to get us started here. You all, I mean, people who do Saw and Free Friday Night Comics, you know these creative rules for artists, right? My first rule for myself and for my students is start now, don't wait. Well, okay, maybe finish reading this mini comic first or this page or two. But you know, don't wait for permission. Just draw the comics you want to see in the world, get them down on paper, and share them with people. And I use an approach that I call create comfy, so that I'm always challenging myself and pushing myself, but I'm drawing and storytelling however feels most, well, if not easy, at least doable, at least whatever I can do tonight, whatever feels most energizing. So when I get done, I want to draw the next page. And when I get done with that, I want to draw the next. Um, and whatever feels most natural to you, draw in whatever way you're comfortable and whatever feels most clear to you, although sometimes it's good to have some mystery and some confusion. And also we'll keep it simple tonight. Just draw one thing at a time, step by step. And my little motto for myself is less. If I ever get stuck and I'm not sure what to do, maybe I can back up a little and try to do a little less. However, ironically, tonight is +1, story +1. So we're actually going to try doing a little more. And this, I'm going to show you how I grow my books, because my graphic novels, like Tom mentioned, Freeman Colby Volume 4, my graphic novels all start off as 8-page mini comics. So they all start off, Volume 1 started off as a little 8-page mini comic that I could share with people. And now I've drawn a couple thousand pages into this series. So I'll talk a little more about that. I'll show examples from that later. But to get started tonight, I'm just going to take paper and pencil or whatever kind of pen you want to use. I use whatever I have here. I really like Flair felt tip pens because they're really accessible and cheap and fun to draw with. I tend to use a pie process. I call it the pie process. So I pencil out my comics, then I'll ink them and erase the pencil lines. But I always do a secret step in there where I read them back. I ask somebody to read it back to me. That's harder to do over the cameras with pencil, so you might jump right into inking tonight. But
What's
I
the E
might.
stand for?
What's that?
What's the E stand for?
The E, sorry, the E stands for eraser. So once you have inked
Ah.
over your pencil lines, you go back and erase all your pencil lines and hide them. And yeah, maybe that picture isn't the world's best eraser picture, right?
No, I think it looks it. Look at that
Yeah,
eraser dust. Classic.
you just erase your pencil lines, hide all your mistakes, and people think you're a genius who draws in ink. Um, all right, so what I'm going to show you tonight, this is a very simple, this is not like mind-blowing at all. It's super simple, but I find when I do this approach, this story +1 approach, I find it changes my stories, and it's actually what really makes my mini comics grow into full-size graphic novels that are worth drawing. If I'm going to spend, I've spent the past 13 years working on this series, and you can't work on something for 13 years unless you're really compelled to explore it and draw it. So I need to have a reason to do it. So, so we're going to start simple here. Step 1 is we're going to take just a couple minutes, and maybe Tom can be our timekeeper. I know you have a good over
Zoom.
the face clock or something you can show. So if we take like just 2 or 3 minutes to plan out, just thumbnail 3 to 4 step story. And it's important that it be, you don't have to draw things, but as long as you know that there's 3 steps to this story or 4 steps to this story, that you can think of them as pages or panels. Couple in examples I came up with is think of a story in a start, middle, end format. And it could be as simple as like condense your favorite story or your favorite movie or book or fairy tale down to 3 steps. See if you can do that. It could be a diary event from your day. It could be a how-to that you want to share. Maybe a how-to, how you make your comics. Something from your creative process that you think people would be interested in. Or maybe it's a favorite poem or a song or a joke. I know we did haiku comics last week. So if you have a haiku in mind, or you want to make one up on the spot, that could be your 3-step story. We don't need to draw anything here. I'm just gonna, you'll see, I'm just gonna set up 3 little squares or 4 squares. I might start planning my story here just by like squaring out 4 panels. And then I'll just put, an event from my day into this or a story I'm going to try.
Okay.
So this
So
is a scrap paper.
how much time do you want for this part?
Let's keep it fast. So we just have to go with our first impulse. So maybe 3 minutes.
All right. Let me put that little timer on. Um, Give me a second. We're gonna waste time finding the timer, but that's all right.
Some people are already starting, I bet. So
Wait, we said 4 or 3? 4, right?
let's say 3, and then we can give ourselves an extra minute if we decide we need it.
All right, timer's running. And we're not drawing, we're just writing.
Or thumbnailing, whatever you're comfortable with for planning. This
Okay.
won't be the artwork. I have another piece of paper for the artwork, but this is just to get an idea down. So then I can change my idea. Doesn't even have to really be readable to anybody but yourself.
Got a minute and 45 left, everybody.
Good to have a little not enough time than a little too much time for this process. Because it pushes you, just have, whether you're doing 3 or 4 steps to your story, just put something down. And even if like, I'm not sure what should go at the end here, so I'll put a little question mark. And at least I'm writing something then. Oh, see, that gave me an idea for a line.
Oh, nice. Oh, your screen is focusing on your hand. It's doing some sort of Blade Runner thing on it.
Yeah, I was thinking Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah, there must be some way to turn it off, but
It's pretty cool. Oh, look, a
oh,
branch.
it's looking for a face. Maybe if I draw like a little face on my hand, it'll just relax.
Uh,
Is it going to zoom in on that? Maybe, I don't know. Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. Hey, everybody. Okay, I think we're up to our 3-minute mark.
No, 28 seconds left.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me.
Although I did start a little late because of trying to find the timer app.
So now we have a plan, or in 7 seconds, we'll officially have a plan.
Third, yeah. Can you put your
Uh,
hand in front of the camera so we can see that little face?
yeah, isn't that cute? Now
Yeah.
I'm going to do that whenever I'm teaching now. I'll just do a little face on my hand. Oh, all right.
Okay,
All
great.
right. So that, like we started out saying, or maybe we were saying before we started out, I have an aversion to planning out stories because I find once I've scribbled it out like this, half 50 to 75% of me just says, leave it, it's good enough, or if it needs something, I'll go in and draw something in there. And I end up with really messy comics if I do that because I drew that so fast. But drawing fast, I can at least get ideas out and keep up with the ideas as they evolve. So now we're going to throw a little curveball in. This is the +1 story. If I can find my +1 card. So we plan out a 3 or 4 step story. I've learned that a really great way to expand that story is by taking the comics format itself and using it to open up the story, just creating space. So like I said, nothing mind blowing here, but the effects can be really revolutionary to your story. Now we're going to go back into that idea and we're going to add a +1 element to the story. That means open up a new, should really be like a new space because it could be a new panel or it could be a new page or something. I'll give you some examples, but we'll open up a new space and we'll see what enters into that to change the story in some way, to bring a new voice or a new view into that story. Because there's a lot. I get so focused on this event from my day and I'm
Mhm.
parsing it into 4 steps so it fits into my 4-step plan. And now I'm going to ask, what if there's a fifth step somewhere in there? And who comes to live in that fifth step? A new character, a new idea. I find there's a couple ways that I do this. I'll show you a couple examples. First one is that the first one? Oh, no, first one is let's just add, maybe just adding a new panel. Like you had 3 panels and you make it a 4 panel. And that could be a panel on at the beginning or a panel at the end or a panel somewhere in the middle. Or you have a 4 panel and you somehow create a page that has that fifth panel. Be at the
Mhm.
start, at the middle, at the end. Um, the other way that I do that sometimes is I +1 just with area. So I could go from a 3 panel approach to maybe making one of those panels double size. What if we make the first panel double sized? Or what if we make the last panel double sized? What does that do? In my case, if I were to do that with my 4 panel one, I could pick one of these, maybe this one where the action really happens. I might pick that second one. And how could I make that second one bigger? Um, I might I might give myself like maybe the first panel's at the top, smaller, the second panel's bigger, and the third and fourth panel, something like that.
Hmm.
And I could still use the same ideas, but I've parsed out my space a little differently. And I've created like a connection between the third and fourth panel, and a different kind of a connection between the first and second panel. And a different feeling reading top to bottom versus reading side to side. It's going to change the story. It breaks up the regularity of the forward panel, the
Mhm.
2x2. So that's one way to do it. I find whichever one pops into your mind as something that could work with this story, let's just try that out. You can try a couple different approaches. The third one I sometimes use is a whole new page. Like I'll just slap a page on beforehand that shows something leading up to the story, put a page on afterwards that shows something coming out of the story. But always key to that is when I add that +1 element, um, we're opening up a new space. So this is your chance to bring in a new character or a new perspective on this story.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Tell us
yeah,
about that a little bit more. You said new voice, new character, new perspective. How might that look in your story?
in my story, well, my impulse, like here, I was thinking if I make the second one bigger, because that's the action, I'm not really bringing in a new idea. I can make the action, which is a messy uh, action here. I could make that bigger there. But it doesn't, from as far as I can tell, it doesn't necessarily bring in a new voice. So maybe what I should do here, maybe another approach. That's one approach. This is why it's really useful. It probably is a good thing for me to plan and think about this because um, maybe the other approach I could use is I could just use my 4-step plan there and add a double size panel on the end. And that could be, ooh, or I could, I just got an idea. Okay. I could, I was thinking that fourth panel could be a new character. And in this case, I thought there's 2 characters here. There's me and my dog. And I thought maybe the dog could be the other character who comes in and gets a line in that extra panel. I
Yeah.
didn't give her a line in this first one. It's all me talking. And I talk enough. So maybe she should have a line in here. But maybe I can do both. I'm gonna end up with the same action there. Maybe I do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then she gets, there's my 5. Maybe that's the thing to do. and
Okay.
I'll just resequence it and I can use that double size.
How would you like us to approach this? Are we still in a thumbnailing phase then, and we should just give a couple minutes to plan out of that +1?
Well, yeah, you see how messy I get quickly because I say, oh, I got this option, this option, this option. I'm going to go with the first one that grabs me. I think I'll just go with this. Well, the
Oh,
third one that grabs me, I guess. And I'm going to go to my page, my sketchbook page or your paper or whatever, and let's start roughing out that comic with
okay.
pencil or ink. It's up to you. This can be,
The pie method.
yeah, the pie method. I might just go right to ink because I want to have something I can share right away. So, so in my case, I'm going to go, I think it needs to be a tall page. So I'll hold this. So I'm going to rough this out super, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make it a digest size page. I don't want it to get too big because I won't be able to finish it in our time here. So I got my digest size page. I'm just going to rough it out. One thing I always give myself on my pages are margins around the edges. Just do that. And I like going right to ink because it commits me. I don't sit there going, oh, maybe I should erase that line and redraw it. I just have to get the ideas down. And it forces me to be simpler. What did we say? What was the idea here? Oh, yeah. Two on top, one big panel in the middle.
How long should we take to draw?
What time is it?
7:22 in the Eastern time zone. 7:23.
How about this? Let's give ourselves 7 minutes and try to get something down into each panel, even if
Okay.
even if it isn't finished.
Oh my gosh, in 7 minutes total. Okay.
Well,
I'm gonna
that could be a single word in a panel or something.
okay.
Because otherwise it's like, I'll see you all in 30 minutes or an hour.
Okay. So
All
I'm
right.
writing 7 minutes total. What can you get into each panel? That's great, because that means maybe I don't have to draw on every panel.
Right, right. If you could, and that's a good approach. That's why I flashed my start piling things up on my desk. That's why I flashed my little less advice in storytelling. If I can get away with just writing one word in a panel and the story still happens for the reader, maybe that's the way to tell it or show it, right? Maybe it doesn't need a picture drawn in there. Often it needs a little something visual. And I'm not trying to cut corners. I'm just trying to get something down in each panel.
Okay. Um,
So I am switching back to pencil though, because after 7 minutes, I don't want to have too many crazy ink mistakes.
oh, okay. Wait, are you going to ink after that? Or are we, after the 7 minutes, are we going right to sharing? Or are we going to do a little bit of inking or something like that or revising after that?
Then we'll go back over it.
Oh, okay. So this is an initial pass.
Initial pass, just to get something in each panel.
Okay. Oh, so interesting. I will set
No,
up the
no,
time. And
I know.
Yesha, what are the reasons for putting margins on your paper?
The reasons I put margins on my paper is so when I scan it, I don't lose anything at the edge. Because scanners, copiers, anything that is going to see this paper and convert it, reproduce it for us, uh, often it shears off a little bit at the edge. And also in my books, um, in your books, people are holding the edge of the page, or there's mechanical glue in there that holds the book together, so you miss the edge of those pages. So I just know from making, and when people fold my mini comics, like look at this mini comic, whoever folded it, I folded it, and I must have been rushed because it's kind of crooked, and those edges are where stuff gets cut off. So if I have those margins around the page, then I know those words are going to be on the page, even if it slips around on the paper when it prints, or if it gets folded crooked. Look at that. If I didn't have the margin on the page, that artwork would have crossed over onto the other page.
Good.
So the margins save me every time.
Okay.
And there's if you look like what I'm switching back and forth here. I need to show this, so I'm just going to write it in ink. Um,
Yeah.
Set up your own rules, and then if you need to break them, break them. If you look how I start writing, I kind of do this automatically, but it bears mentioning. There is a margin there. I'm leaving a little space between my words, little space between word and panel border, right? It's actually that space, even more than size or neatness or anything, the space around the letters and the words that can really make the difference of readability. So
Yeah.
just giving all the elements their breathing room is like, it's like setting up the furniture in a room and you need a little space around the furniture. You can't have it all packed together. So the margins help the reader move through the space. Sometimes I do feel better just inking rather than penciling. All the time I'm penciling, I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to have to redraw this. Okay, I'm going to have to go over this in a half hour or an hour." But if I just ink it, even if I make a mistake, if I make a mistake, I have some scrap paper here and I can just put that over it and write it again and glue it over it. And it seems it's almost as fast as erasing a pencil. So it just, I don't know, it's weird. It relaxes me to work in ink,
Mhm.
which didn't used to be the case. I used to be kind of stressed, like, oh no, what if I make a wrong line? But I mean, think about it. What if you do make a wrong line? Maybe you'll discover a new way to draw something.
That's true.
It's just ink on paper. Worst case, you can flip it over and look, I have my panels already roughed out there. Now, I'm using copier paper, so this is really thin stuff. It's cheap. It bleeds through. I only draw on one side. How are we doing on time?
Terrible. 3 minutes and 19 seconds left. Or good, as the case may be.
Depends on if you want to get through this faster.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to work on getting my words down because I think I have characters talking in all mine. I think my plus one, so my plus one becomes I'm adding a panel in, but then that opens up a panel later on for my plus one to really be a new character saying something about this. Let's see. And I'm not, and I don't know what the character is going to say in the end. I think that's crucial too for me. I've learned the plus one approach of just opening up a blank panel and saying, okay, I have no idea what goes there is such an empowering practice.
Mm.
And that too used to be stressful to me. I'd be like, oh gosh, look, I have this page I really like, but I misjudged and I have this extra panel and I don't know what goes there. Like I need a punchline or I need a something to clinch it. And I'm trying to get more comfortable. I have been getting really comfortable this year with maybe leaving a blank panel here and there, just like a little space for the reader to think where I'm thinking too, or to be uncertain.
Jaime Hernandez does that sometimes. Just
Is
has
it
an extra panel. It's
is it a
more that he's got a grid and he'll plan his story out and be like, oh, there's an extra panel. I guess I'll figure that out later. No stress. Just put something in there later. And I do think sometimes he'll leave it in a weird place.
I found like when I'm uncertain about things, I do a lot of what I have here. I do a lot of diary comics in my sketchbook, and I found if I'm ever stuck here, I just leave the last panel blank, and
Mm.
then I go to bed. And when I get up the next day, often I'll have an idea for it, or
Oh,
I'll wake up at 3 in the morning and I'll be like, "That's what goes in the last panel."
3 in the
Um,
morning. I love it.
well, sometimes 4 or 5, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, but it's like just opening up. Oh, there's a good page right there. I had
Oh,
an I roughed out the panels and then I was like, this isn't going to work. And I left it. I never came back to it, but maybe I should. I don't even know what the idea was anymore, but that's just space for new ideas to come and inhabit. I just found like if I don't draw anything, if I don't open up the space and say, here's a little framework or a ladder for ideas to climb around in, then they don't come. But if I open up the space, then it eventually they'll come. Maybe not right now in this moment. Where was I?
I don't know, but you got 8 seconds.
Oh, to put something in each panel. Okay.
You want more time?
No, no, no. Hold me to it.
Okay. I have 2 panels empty also.
Oh, that music died fast. Okay. So I'm gonna okay. So I just over the wire, but I have something in each panel. And that forced me, I just made a quick decision of what's going to go in this panel and doing it in ink. I'm glad I'm doing it in ink because that limits my options. And by limiting my options, I force my creativity to kick in and come up with something. Like I was trying to decide how to bring the new character and the new voice in. And now that I know how I want them to feel, and I got that there, so now I'll have to work around that.
You know what? I just copied what you did. My last panel is a heart in the dead center. I was like, what's Marek doing? Because I have no idea. So,
I want to I want to come up with like a name and a form of a comic that has a blank panel for the last panel, or just something tossed off like a heart or a star, or like you
Hmm.
get to the end and just the last thing you're going to give somebody is a little send off, is a little magic spell at the end.
Oh, nice. It is easy to draw.
Uh-huh. And sometimes when readers look at that page and there's stuff covering it, and sometimes you have that reaction of like, oh, I have to read all this. And sometimes empty panel is just a little space where it's like, no, no, you get a breather.
Yeah. You've
All right.
mentioned many times the idea of opening a space. I like that language.
Yeah, so this changed because in my plan I was going to have my main character kind of in each panel from the waist up, just standing there. It's like a talking head comic because that was I'm not thinking of how to tell the story or show the story. I'm just trying to get the steps down. But then once I start thinking, what are my options here? How what are different ways to open it up and have that extra panel? Suddenly I start thinking dramatically. This is going to be my big like manga splash panel that comes out into the margins and stuff. I'm thinking dramatically, like maybe this is the close up of a character, uh, and so on. It just gets me to rethink the story, to revision it, and approach it differently. And as I'm doing this, like that really helped too, having 7 minutes to get something in each panel, even if it's not done, and it's very much not done. Um, Now, if we give ourselves 7 minutes again and go back, and my first question in each panel is, what's missing that has to be there?
Okay.
Right? So I don't get into like, well, I'll draw the window sash and then the shades around it because I'm not getting into the environment at all. What needs to be here? Well, obviously I have a character and I haven't drawn them yet, so I'll draw them first. Um, I'm going to focus on like the characters, the actions. I've got it paced out. And when I come to each panel too, I'm limited because I have a sound effect here, or I have a little emoticon here. And that limitation is going to push me to do something a little different than what I would have just done in my quick 4 panel, get it down, get the 4 steps of the story down.
Should I set the timer for 7 minutes and that's our sort of directive is what's missing that has to be in each panel?
Well, Tom, should we do 6 minutes?
Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, yeah. Say when.
All right, go.
Go. There we go. 6 minutes to something in each panel.
I don't for some reason, I feel like this came up last time we did a saw workshop, but I did that once with a group of second graders. They were like, I was like, well, is 3 minutes enough time to get an idea down for this comic we're drawing? And they
Yeah.
all said, no, no. And so I said, all right, then we'll do 2 minutes, like jokingly. And one of the kids jumped up and was like, no, we just took a minute off. And she was like in tears. And I totally didn't mean that to happen.
Oh
You have to be
no.
careful. I enjoy a good time challenge, but it can be stressful if you really want to sink. It can be stressful if you really want to sink into things and enjoy your work and zone out, draw for an hour. So I
Yeah,
don't
that's true.
oppose that.
There's a difference, right? You're giving us a stress-free way of being creative and having a story in 13 minutes, but it doesn't allow for that zoning out, drawing, meditative sort of part. But that's all right. After the workshop, people can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I find the way I think of it, coming from a teaching background, it's like with every class we have what 20 minutes or 45 minutes to get something done. And so my approach is like, well, at the end of that 45 minutes, if I can show you this and you can almost get the story, that's great. If I spend 45 minutes working on one panel and everything else is blank and unformed, I can't really share it yet. So I just try to get a little something down everywhere.
Yeah, I'm hurrying and I got a whole 4 minutes here, right?
My
No,
God.
I don't need to be rushing. Let's see. I'm going to be adding wood grain to this table, I think.
So we have 3 minutes left. Again, not to stress the time, just to push myself to get something down. If I have 3 minutes left, I kind of have to really prioritize. Like, what are the most important parts of the story that I need to get down so I could potentially share it? And sometimes that pushes me to use shortcuts like, I don't have time to draw this complicated concept. So I'm just going to write a little label in. And sometimes that's so liberating to be like, oh, this isn't fine art. This isn't, this isn't an illustration. This is literally a diagram or a map or a shortcut
Yeah.
to just get an idea into my reader's head.
Yeah, yeah. Just get an idea into your reader's head.
That's cartooning, right? You're not drawing the thing, you're drawing the idea.
Yeah.
And shortcuts it's all about shortcuts.
I mean, yeah, right. It's probably a better name for it than shortcuts, right? Not just the method, you know?
The method with capitals.
Yeah. Yeah, shortcuts.
That's why I use like all my graphic novels are all drawn with stick figures. That's one of the reasons because I'm just trying to get an idea down. And sort of like I said with planning, if I get it down and it works, then why add more details to it? If it works and the reader gets the idea, then and it's easier to read, then I'm going to go with that.
How much time we have. I'm not watching the screen.
50, 49 and a half seconds. So once again, I'm down to my last panel and I'm like, okay, well, you know, give yourself some grace. Give yourself a minute and a half. And what are you going to put down?
I find I'm a second draft person. Like my first draft that we've done in 13 minutes will be usable, but I probably need to.
Uh,
Um, but I probably need to refine a little to make it clear to people. And that's that, but that's a fun part of the process for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, I guess my challenge, part of the reason I draw with stick figures a lot and I like to leave a little space is if I can refine and not have to redraw the whole page, then I'll do that. Like if I to make it clear at this point, just drawing in ink, at this point, maybe I'd ask somebody to read it back to me. Or maybe Tom, you could be my test reader.
Happily.
And And if you can read it back to me and you respond to it the way I wanted you to, or the way I thought you might, and I'm reasonably happy with the results, I I might be done and I'll move on to the next page or the next adventure. If you don't quite respond the way I thought, then I will think about going back in. And oh, Tom Hart raised his hand. Oh,
I did, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand too,
oh, okay.
um, if you can find it. I don't know if it's easy. Um, it's usually there's its own thing, but if not, it's you click the heart where it says react, and it usually pops up there, and that'll keep you sort of high on the grid when people begin sharing. Can you see it?
Let's stop sharing my screen. I don't see the heart thing.
Yeah. Well, you can wait until you stop sharing. You want me to read this?
Let's give it a try. Yeah.
Well, there's a little bunny character. What should I draw for tonight's class? And he's got some Thoreau quotes, and then oh, gotta feed the dog too. Whoops, grease. Why is there grease in a can? I don't know, but splat grease everywhere. Look, that's a great panel. Panel three is so greasy and gross. Maybe that's my story. And the little dog has a little exclamation point, and so a new genre is born with a little the dog is reading it and has a little heart. Grease splatter comics. Oh, that dog is happy.
Oh,
You don't even know if the dog got fed, but happy reading a mini comic. Yeah, love it.
and sometimes when you show someone your comic, you're like, oh yeah, we need some grease splatter here, or need a little heart here or something. Sometimes the moment you show it to them, you know what you want to change.
Mhm.
And sometimes when they read it back to you, like a key feature is Tom's wondering why there's grease in a jar or a can. You got that it was a can, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's not just grease, it's like stinky old grease.
Like cooking grease and things like that.
Yeah, that was out on the counter for days. So maybe I need stink lines. Um, maybe I can get it a little stinkier. There aren't flies or anything, but that's
I,
oh,
I,
maybe
I,
maybe down here is where to add those in because I have the space for it.
oh boy, he does look gross and greasy there. What a great panel.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, that I mean, when it started out, that's just the value to me of opening up the panel, that panel to let something else come in. Because when it started out, it was like a four-panel talking head diary comic. These four things happened to me in this order. That was just how I kind of approached it, because that's what I said we'd do. We'd just plan out a 3 or 4 step story. And then opening up that extra panel, it both expanded my action and gave me that space, and I had to draw less in there. I couldn't draw my character's head. I had to draw the feet because of a time crunch. And I think that made it better. And
Yeah.
then you do this extra panel where actually dogs can read these comics and sniff them and enjoy this.
Oh, right. The smell of the grease is probably really appealing to
Yeah.
Greta. Mm.
Yeah, Greta, she's snoring right over here. Um, so yeah, that's the value of opening up that extra space. And I said I'd show how I use this in my book. As I do the Freeman Colby series, I work with a lot of letters written by people in the Civil War. And I found the greatest part of working with letters is there's these gaps between them. And it was really like it was in volume 2 years ago, where I was working with the letters of Freeman Colby, who's a teacher in the Union Army. And he writes these details about marching around in the Union Army. And then there's like months between each letter. And
Mm,
so those gaps between the letters that was where I had to do detective work and really find other storytellers. And there, some of them are on the back here. Find other storytellers who could come in and had written things down in those months who were
mm,
in the same place, experiencing not exactly the same things, but similar things. And that's where the story really took off. It became not just one person's story,
amazing.
but it became a whole world. So once you get, suddenly I have this dog who reads comics. In the next page, maybe she's making her own comics.
Wow.
Um, or maybe the next page is like how to clean the kitchen or something, because that's what I'm doing after class tonight.
No more grease
Yeah.
stain. Should we take a look and see what people have done?
Yeah, I can't wait to
Can,
see what people
can
have
you
worked
find
on.
yours? Can you find your raise hand button now? It might be
Yeah.
under the react heart button. Um, do you see it?
Got it.
Okay. No, that was a clap.
Oh, I'm clapping. I'm I'm old on technology.
Yeah, me too. Let me
Oh,
see.
raise hand. Here it is. All
That's
right.
it. Now, here's the key is like in a minute or two, Zoom is going to say, it looks like you're done talking. We're going to lower your hand and you have to hit cancel. And if you don't, no harm done, but it's better if you
Already
can.
said it. It's tired of me talking. All
Oh,
right.
good. We've had it with you. Okay. So yeah, we have some people ready. So let's take a look. We have Aaron and then Emmanuel and then Gail. Let's see. We'll go to Aaron first. If Aaron's ready. Aaron. All right, here we go.
Hi, I am brand new
Hi.
and I'm
Welcome.
and I'm a writer seeking out creative play.
I hope
Um,
13 minutes to draw a four-panel comic was okay.
well, I started with just doing notes
Uh-huh. I'll let Mark talk.
about the things. Um, and because everything was so fast, it was basically just expanding on the notes, but realizing so my mom was just scammed by people pretending they were from PayPal. And they were texting her and calling her, and they got control of her computer and convinced her to go to her bank, pull out cash, put it, box it in a certain way to ship it, go to the UPS store to have it mailed out, priority, early morning, early next day delivery. And it wasn't until she had gotten home, and you see it's the fourth panel, where she suddenly was like, what did I do? What have I done? And then my new fifth panel, which is going to stretch all the way across, is for her to she did retrace her steps, and she told the people. So it was the next day. She went to the bank and was telling the bank manager what was going on. She she confessed her sins is how she was thinking of it. But what she did was she reached out to get help. The people at the bank were seeing that she was very uncomfortable and was getting lots and lots of texts and phone calls. The person helping her at the UPS store could see she was very uncomfortable. Um, And what happened is she was at the UPS store so late that it wasn't going to get shipped out that night anyway. So they held it. They held that box full of cash. So when she went the next day to the bank to try to get help, and they were able to show, no, they moved money from one of your accounts to another one of your accounts. It was never anything to do with paying back a bill on PayPal.
Oh,
And
Aaron,
the bank manager called the UPS store and found out they had not had not shipped out the box. So she went to the UPS store and was able to recover the box of cash. And after all of that, then she called me to tell me that she wasn't going to be able to access her email for a couple of days because she had to have the tech doctors come in and take her computer to scrub it. And then she told me the whole story.
oh, I see why you didn't fit this in 3 or 4 panels because
Yeah.
there's a real
Yeah.
story there. But I love the idea of the extra panel being like explanation or how to or advice and the
Like,
story going on
you,
and that happening.
yeah,
That's,
don't, when they say don't tell anybody, don't listen to them. Reach out,
yeah,
tell
it's
people.
almost it feels like this could easily be an 8-page mini comic and each
Yes.
page could be a step of that process because you just told us way more than you could sensibly fit in 3 or 4 panels, right?
Right.
But if you had like the top half of the page showing the story and then that extra panel on each page giving that clear advice at each step of the story, yeah, because you always think, oh, this wouldn't happen to me, I wouldn't fall for that, and then something you think it's sensible and you think it's, yeah, and suddenly you realize, I've had this happen, suddenly you're like, wait a minute, I'm 2 steps down this 10-step process, they almost got me going to 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that could be a much longer project, and it feels like that +1 panel is crucial to giving advice all along
Yes.
from
It truly is. It
very,
truly is.
yeah.
And without this today, I wouldn't have thought to start even getting into this. So thank you very much. I
Thanks.
appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron. Come
Would
back.
love to
See you
see
next time.
would love to see what comes of that too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of this, if you wrote that down as a post or something, I would see all the words and I'd think about reading it, or maybe I'd read it later. When we take the time to draw this stuff out as a comic, people see it and I mean, you can't not read a clearly drawn picture. You get the information from it. And it draws you in and you want to read the next and the next. So it can be a great way to share this urgent information.
All right, Aaron. Thanks so
Thank you
much.
so much.
We'll go to Emmanuel next. Here we go.
Hi. Okay. So this is something that happened today. How to fry zucchini. Number one, wash and cut zucchini. Number two, fry in olive oil. Number three, flip. Sorry. Flip when golden brown, sprinkle with garlic salt. Number four, put on a plate. Number five, enjoy despite critics. My little sister told me, you eat it like that? And she also complained about the stinky oil in the kitchen. She doesn't like the smell of oil cooking. So, but I did sure enjoy it. Um, so yeah, this I just had it the first 4 panels like this kind of, but then I added this for the fifth panel with the voice coming in. So yeah, really fun activity.
That's where it comes alive, huh? Because now you have 2 characters in dialogue or
Mhm.
starting a dialogue. Yeah, and they they have different views of food. And
Thanks.
this one I think can go in the Stinky Grease Comics anthology we're apparently drawing. So yeah, got
And
2 now.
I'll put information in the chat about that. Thanks, Emmanuel. We'll go to Gail next. Here we go.
Hi, Marek and Tom. This was really fun. Here's my comic. It's called College Essay Conversations with Parents of High School Seniors. Everyone who shows me a draft of around 650 words gets 100. I don't grade on content because some students have outside help, which is totally okay for this task, but it wouldn't be fair for me to grade. Oh, yes, oh, yes, that's fair. Evie is very independent. She hasn't shown us anything. That's fine. Some students don't want help. Bye, nice meeting you. Bye. Have a good night. Water break. Um, sorry. Hello, how is Johnny doing? I messed this one up. The writing, my dialogue should have been higher up and there should be lower. But anyway, hello, how is Johnny doing with his Common App essay? Oh, he's fine. He's been working with a tutor since July. So there's great disparities between how students write their essays, and I think it's a very the opposite of transparent, opaque process for many people. They do not realize how different different people's family situations are. Not everybody can afford $20,000 or whatever for a college application consultant. But anyway, I give everybody 100. So thank you for this workshop. It was really fun.
Nice to draw with you.
Thanks, Gail. Here's Jackie.
Yes. This was it's kind of funny that we did a timed right uh drawing prompt because I started off my day doing a time writing prompt. And this is called how to write. I don't know if you can see it. The lighting is really poor up here. There we go. Number one, get invited. And then that's my friend sending me a text. Number two, come as you are. Three, get a prompt. And there's just some prompt. Four, about write about the prompt in the allotted time. And then my fifth panel is my iPad with the Zoom. Everybody, and then the fifth panel is share maybe, and then that's people reacting to my if there's time we all share, or so whoever feels like sharing can share. And those just people did various reactions.
So it's a how-to comic, Marek.
Yeah.
I love how-to comics that purport to be about how to do an action, and they just take the action and make it one of the steps. Like how to do a story, and we've got this sense of the social network around it. And step 4 is just write the story.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Just yeah. But I thought it was funny that or uncanny that we, I had this allotted time. You have 8 minutes to write, and the prompt is the sky, or whatever. And so thank you, Marek. Thank you, Tom. This was a lot of fun.
Nice to draw with you, and nice to see a record of your process.
Oh, thank you.
Comics, yeah.
Thanks,
And
Jackie.
I like how that fifth one pops out of the 4-panel structure, and
Yeah.
I feel more like I'm holding the device and getting the feedback from the people there, because it comes right out of the panels towards me.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't intend that, but that was my add-on. I thought I'll just add on the iPad.
Marek
Yeah,
puts
that's
on
a
the
good-
pressure.
It's a little meta because I'm using the iPad right now to show this to you, but
Thanks, Jackie. We'll go to Marion.
It's a picture of an iPad on a notebook held up to an iPad to show it on somebody's
yes.
device. That's a lot of layers.
Hi.
Marion.
Let's see here. There we go. Okay, I did mine on the weather, and I started out doing it without really another character, but then as we went through the revise, I added my cat in there. So we've got the sunny weather, and then we've got clouds coming in because we've got a front coming through. So we've got a storm front coming through, and the cat's outside and realizing here that, uh-oh, I better get inside because there's a lot of rain. I see that the wording's backwards. So anyway, it's a cold front. It says cold pushes out the sun, rain comes hard. So then the cat's running, and then it ends up at the end here with the cat being inside saying, so good to finally be inside. So it's just a very simple kind of comment on the weather, and then if the cat's outside. So
Oh
I
my,
enjoyed the exercise a lot. That was fun to do. And I was kind of pulling off of some of the uh, abstract of last week where we were doing different shapes and clouds and things like that. So
I see it. The textures and the shapes kind of drive the action from panel to panel. And I don't know if I don't know if this is clever design or instinct, but I love how the structure of the page, 4 panels on top and a big panel on the bottom, is mirrored in the windows that we're looking through. That's beautiful. There's like a fractal sense to the page.
thank you.
Nice, Mary. Thank you.
This is a great exercise. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Alexander next. Here we
Hey
go.
everyone. I like ran out of details, so I used colored pencils, so I don't know if that's cheating a little bit. And then I was in a colored pencil mood, so I finished adding color. But that is my first panel. That's me. That's a guy at work. And that is the second panel, and it says, "Come on, man, I'm trying to eat." And that's the third panel. And he says, "All right, see ya." I wave bye. And I sigh as I sit down, and then he comes back over and he says, "So I looked up that book you showed me, and I did not like that he came back over because I wanted to eat, and I don't like eating while I'm talking to people."
I love those characters who just don't know when to quit.
Yeah,
Funny.
that was this guy.
Great. That's amazing that you could do color in at that speed.
Yeah. Like
Sometimes I feel like I'm better when I go that quickly. Otherwise, I think about it too much.
I think that's Marek's idea. Thanks, Alexander. We'll go
Right.
to
To get into that zone where you're not overthinking it. Yeah. Yeah. Color's your way to do that. I find color slows me down so much that I lose track of the story if I don't get it out fast. Yeah. That's
Cool.
great.
Thanks. We'll go to Walter next and then Joanne.
Hey, Marek. This exercise reminded me of a writing exercise where the students write a paragraph and then you instruct them to add a sentence between every sentence that makes sense, and just that idea of expanding things. That said, I tried to put in another perspective instead of another voice, and when I did, I realized I messed up my sequence, so I had to add 2 more panels. So I wound up with 6. And it's all just Emanata. So it's a silent with Emanata. So there's 1.
Could I try to read it to you, Walter?
Sure.
That's because especially when with wordless comics, I find it's really crucial to give it to a test reader and ask them,
Okay.
and then you'll know if I'm getting it or not. So there's this cat. Somebody's reaching down to pick the cat up, and the cat loves this person and is feeling friendly, and they're holding the cat on the, oh, it's like a Walter type person holding the cat on the couch here. And somebody else comes over and the cat's thinking, huh? Wait a minute, they don't know this person. And oh, no, this person comes up to them and puts eardrops in, and the cat could see it coming, and the heart has disappeared completely. And suddenly there's cursing and they're scrambling, and the cat's probably struggling in their arms. And it takes 2 people to hold them down. Yep. And Walter's eyes bug out as the cat just flies out of his arms in excitement, jumps into the next panel, and they have to bribe the cat with food to make the cat happy. This looks like a really old cat, too.
That's it. That happens twice a day for the next week.
I think this could qualify for our Stinky Grease Comics anthology if you, yeah, with a little tinkering.
The original idea I added was to add the close-up of the cat, so it was more about the cat than just about us. So that was the insight.
Yeah. And it's like I always think of that like if you stand across the room from somebody and have a conversation, you'll have a conversation. But if you go sit down next to them, you get to know them better. And
Yeah.
when we get in close to your character like that, it aligns us with the cat instead of the people. And
Yeah,
it really gives your story
that was the +1 that I had anyway.
awesome.
Nice way to
Yes.
frame it. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Walter.
much.
Nice to draw with you.
Go to Joanne next. There we go.
This was great. I decided to do Snow White and try to tell the fairy tale. And so I opened it up by putting this middle panel, which allowed me to tell more of the story. So it starts out with white as snow, and then the evil stepmother says, looks in the mirror and says, fairest of all. And then she, gets saved, but gets lost in the woods and meets the seven dwarves and then is happily ever after. And I did a really poor job on the huntsman's beard, but anyway, or a prince, whoever he is. Yeah. So that's it.
Oh, that's great.
I love that beard. I wish I could grow that beard. What was your +1 panel, Joanne?
It's this one in the middle here where she's lost. And I really like the idea of this sort of long, so I could show the forest and her sort of as a small character. So it allowed me to kind of bring that in as, like expand the story, I think.
So where Walter brought us in close to the cat to align us with the character, you're doing the opposite. You're taking us out to the long range so we see the expanse she's lost in. That's great.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I thought I was going to draw the bodies of all the seven dwarves, and then after I drew the faces, I just thought, well, that's enough. In the spirit of just, how to be simple. Yeah, so it's interesting.
And
All
leaving
along
that
the way.
space for the eye to see, yep, there's seven. Yep, they all have personalities.
Yeah,
And you don't need to see their kneecaps,
yeah.
Thanks, Joanne. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Yesha next. Very good.
Hi, so good to be back here. Um, so this was my initial draft, like the first round, the 4 panels. It was just like I'm a librarian, and this is just like a little interaction that I had at the library today where a patron asked what resources we have for blind kids, because he was a teacher who teaches special ed teacher who teaches blind kids. And I was like, deer in headlights. We don't have a lot. We have so little. And I was like practically crying because my brain just went into freeze mode. And then like this was my second version where I since I did it on a plate, I just thought like, what if I did it like a spiral going in? And then there's the uh-oh moment, and I don't want to take up too much time, but uh and there's the guy and me, and then the middle one is like, actually, this is what we do have, and then that's really confusing. So I thought, and I never really finished this, but like this is kind of like, well, what would it look like if I put it in like a more normal format. And this is like the gears finally working in my brain, which was something he said in the interaction. He's like, oh, I see the gears turning now, you know? And I realized like, we don't have as much as I would like, and I'm embarrassed that we don't, but here's what we do have. And thank you for getting my gears going for this.
Oh, great. Yeah. Nice to see. I love the idea of drawing on round paper. I feel like that would make a great Free Friday comics workshop someday.
And a paper plate, no less. Does that automatically qualify for a Greasy Comics anthology?
Ooh, it could. Yeah. Just a little bit of revision there.
Thanks, Yesha. Okay, we'll go to Eli next.
Hi. Where are we at here? So I was at the park the other day with my dog, who's a very powerful pit bull, and this crazy intense little girl came up to me and it was big, crazy blonde hair and whoops, they're on my camera. And she was like, "Hey, can I play with your dog? He's so cute." And I was like, okay, he's really strong. We have to follow some ground rules. And she kind of transformed herself into this. And she was like, "No, I want the ball." So I don't want to give away the punchline here, but make you all seasick. And she was like, "Give me the ball. I want the ball." And she was kind of pulling it out of my hand. I looked over at her mom to get some backup. And I was like, "Hold on a second." And she grabbed the ball out of my hand and threw it while laughing maniacally. And I literally flew through the air. My legs were off the ground. I flew through the air and landed in a giant crumpled heap. And then my dog was dragging me after she threw the ball. What a little twerp. Um, and then the next day I came back and the mom was like, "I'm so glad you're not in a neck brace." She like, "That looked like that really hurt." And then her sister turned to her and she was like, "Did Cece do something again?" So apparently this kid is like a menace and causes chaos wherever she goes. There we are. I didn't follow any of the instructions. All I have is 5 panels to try to fake you guys out that I had a different idea halfway through.
Nice. Sometimes you just sit and don't follow the instructions and come up with a comic space.
Nice, Eli. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go to Judith next, and then Alice, and then Jean.
Hi. I wish I could work this way all week, like the intensity that I do in 20 minutes. If I could do that all day, I would be so great. Anyway, this is a true story. This happened this afternoon. And it's a mess, but it was a very crowded cafe and there was a woman sitting there and there was no place to sit. And I said to her, "Do you mind if I sit down?" And she said, yes. She didn't mind. I said, "Can I sit here?" And she said, "Are you an artist?" I didn't know her. And for no reason at all, I said, "Yes." And it saves my life. I had no idea. It was just like this dream almost. And she said, "When my father was a boy, some bullies chased him into the street, calling him a Christ killer. And he ran into the street to escape them and was hit by a truck and was in a coma with broken bones for weeks. And someone gave him a piano. And she said he ran into the street, and I said, "Oh no, what happened?" And he said that story. And then she said, he said playing the piano saved his life. He learned how to walk and talk again. And then he said, he made me take piano lessons as a kid so that someday it might save my life.
Aw.
And that was an actual conversation I had with this stranger at the cafe, which was pretty cool, actually. So now we're friends. But there's something about doing it and so fast and getting so much done in a second that I don't know how to do that on a regular basis all day. If anybody knows how, I'd like to learn.
Well, if you can do it in 20 minutes, just set aside 20 minutes a day and be intense for 20 minutes.
I want to do it 20 minutes every 20 minutes is the thing. So, anyway,
Well,
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Having somebody waiting too helps, right? So somebody, you gotta.
That's true. That's true.
somebody
I
on the other
see the
end.
little hands and I say, "Oh, I have to rush." So.
And being open to the people around you and their stories, that's what gives you
Fabulous. I said to her, "Do you realize what an amazing story you just told me? Do you mind if I make a comic out of it?"
Yeah. And everybody has those stories. Everybody has those. I mean, everybody has unique stories, but yeah, I know what you mean. When you open up that space, it's like a panel for 20 minutes, open up that space or time to create a story. And I find the universe just is the fire
it's been
hose.
doing that. But the fact that she said to me, I didn't know her, and she said, "Are you an artist?" Why would she even say that?
Right.
And then I felt like I had to tell her the truth. So there you go.
Wow.
Thanks, Judith.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got Alice next, Jean, Christian. Here's
Okay.
Al.
Well, thanks, Merrick. This was really fun. And I tried to follow instructions, but I'm not very good at that. So it started out because I was, as usual, I panic at Friday Night Comics. So it says, it's Friday night, FNC. There's everyone on the thing. And it says almost every time when it's time to tell a story or go make a diary comic, I go completely blank. Uh, my sketchbook becomes a menace, a monster of judgment. Maybe I just don't have an interesting. Alice, have you seen our tortoise? I can't find him. Mama, have you seen my Nacho Libre boots? Uh, in the basement. Be careful of the mummified rat. Mummified rat.
Nice face.
Uh, did you tell then the voice? This is my husband David yelling from the other room, as he is wont to do. Did you tell Misha about the ghosts? Misha yells, "Ghosts! Tell Misha about how the ghost cut off the puppet legs." And there's me finding the puppet with the legs chopped off. Then that will pow. That's the big pow sound. What was that? I'm trying to think. I have to draw, and nothing is coming to mind. I have become so boring. It was Misha. She ran away, holding a white leather patent. Holding her white patent leather nacho boots. Time to share. Nothing. Choked again. And then from the other room, a little voice says, "It's Chips o'clock." And then there's a little asterisk. It says, "Approximately 4:20 p.m. We get out the Chipotle dips and chips." That's my comment.
Nothing happening.
Yeah.
Nothing happening. Nothing going on around here.
Maybe next week.
Oh, choked again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, thanks, Alice. I
Thank
love
you,
how
Mary.
not following the rules is like 20 panels. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Thanks, Alice. Right, we'll go to Jean next.
Thank you. Let's see.
Wow, another color one.
Well, it was a watercolor crayons, so they were pretty fast. I was walking with my dog in the woods yesterday, and haikus were on my mind. So I made this haiku, and then I thought I would just draw it today. So it's autumn woods, juggling the dog leash and the camera phone. So all the leaves were so fantastic that I was trying to take pictures of everything around me. I think I probably took 20 or 30 pictures. And the dog was having none of that. She was like, "I thought we were walking, and why do you keep stopping?" So that's what I tried to show here.
Nice attention.
So
I like the black and white and then the color.
mostly that was because I ran out of time, and I knew I could only put color in a few places. So I thought that on the color, which was what the story was about. So
Oh, that's great.
okay, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Merrick. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, nice to draw with you.
Thanks. Okay, we've got 11 minutes left. I think we can do our last four here. Christian, if Christian's ready, then we'll do.
Can I be last?
Sure, we'll go to Susie next then. Christian's still working. Susie, you ready?
Finishing touches.
Yeah, I need to share my screen.
Yeah, I can do that. Hang on a second.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna put my contact info back in the chat because I know some folks here are on my Patreon, and if you are, I would love to see, well, from anybody, I would love to see what you drew tonight. So please drop me a line if you're on Substack or Patreon or through my website.
Yeah.
And I would love to see your a pic of your finished page or semi-finished page.
And I lost our
Do I need to request it again?
you should be able to do it. Have you tried? Is it not working?
Oh, here we go. Okay, so the first
part is me. Oh, do you want to just figure it out?
Oh, you want me to try reading it?
Yeah, why not?
Can you zoom
There's
in
one
on
more
the,
panel. There's one more panel after this. It's the
oh,
edit.
oh, I see it in the plan there. Can you zoom in on the top half?
Okay. Wait a second. I guess I have to do that on my computer, right?
Yeah, it's, oh, or you can read it to us. It's a little small on my screen because it's a tall page on my wide screen.
Okay, so there's no words in the first panel. That's just the back of me leaving the house. And then the second panel is me outside. And the third panel is me coming back with 3 upset cats. They get upset every day when I go out to get sun. Meow, meow. They're all freaking out. And then I say, it's okay. Mommy's home. And I pet their heads. And then the fourth panel was there was a fire ant on my leg.
Oh, I love the, it's like the cats we see from the back and we don't see their faces, and the fire ant, we don't see the face, we see from the back, stomping on the leg. That's great.
Thank you.
Great, Susie. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank
that's,
you.
I know that feeling. I've had that happen.
And you look so free in that second panel when you go out the door, and it's like you're walking out the door into the second panel,
Yeah.
going right out there, and you're just free under the sun.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
and
not.
there's a little fire ant by your foot, isn't there?
Yeah, I put it in. I put it in, and I put it on my leg on the third panel.
And we only notice it when we go back to read after reading the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Thanks, Susie.
I love
Thank
details
you.
like that.
Okay, we'll go to Lori next. Here we go.
Hmm.
I think I might have to stop the sharing though, so hang on, Lori. There you go.
Okay. Can you see it? Ah!
How to make stuffies.
So I divided the first one to show I came back from cohogging, and then you keep it in the ocean water and you put it, that's supposed to be the refrigerator. Then you keep it overnight, take it out, boil them up, hot, hot, hot. And you mix everything up. There's other ingredients. Then you stuff them inside the clean half clamshells and just add some butter or plant butter, and it's really delicious. I do say myself.
You rake these clogs yourself, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And I like to add a spicy sausage like chorizo or linguiça, and bacon and onion and some old bread. It's good. Thank you. Thanks so much, Marek and Tom.
I remember seeing Lori's sketchbooks of the tools and the
Oh yeah.
and the beaches.
For the field notes anthology, I got my rake and I got the big, floatable basket. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
well,
good stuff.
work a little stinky grease in, and then I'll got another anthology that it could fit into. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Thanks, Lori. Okay,
you.
Alice, if Alice is ready, we'll go to Alice and then we'll go to Christian. Alice second Alice. I'm not seeing Alice as being ready, so we might go to Christian. Oh, there she is.
Okay, there you go. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a story from a long time ago. When I was a kid, so it was a story of going to see my brother. It says, my mother saying, we're going to the shore, Atlantic City, a special trip to the Children's Seashore House to see your brother. And me and my other brother were very excited, yippee, it's the shore. And then driving down, we see the elephant, and then there's just a panel of words. We saw the gray sky and the empty beach, and no one was around. And when we entered the building, we walked down a long, stinky corridor. And the first thing we saw back in the day, children with hydrocephalus just grew a big head. And so my brother and I thought that was an old man with a baby body and wondered why he was in a cage. And then we found my brother who was sick, and we asked how he was, and he said, well, at least the food's better. So.
Wow.
What was your your +1 panel, Al?
My +1 was to have my brother talk, to get his point of view.
Yeah. Wow. This feels like
Hello.
I spoke to them.
feels like the beginning of a much longer story. I have so many questions. It's so
Oh, it
mysterious.
is the part of a long story that I'm working on. That's why I decided to pick this.
Great.
Thanks, Alice. And
Yeah, good luck with it.
it's late. I want to remind everybody there's lots of ways to share, and I'm posting it in the chat one last time, and including Marek's links. But if you want to be part of the PDF and stuff like that, the links are there, and also how to find us on Instagram and stuff. And Christian, we'll go to you right now.
Like for a moment, please. I got a question. What prompt we were doing? Like we were supposed to be doing like a 3 to 4 steps.
Yeah, we
Like,
started with 3 to 4 steps, and then we added a step in somewhere along the way.
okay.
The idea was to
I
open up a new step.
I just do this.
Hmm.
Like,
Oh, is it a rolling egg?
yeah, it was a rolling egg, and then the parent was like, "What the hell are you doing? Do you want to die?" And the egg was like, "No." But then, something bad happens.
Totally not expected.
A giant owl.
Oh, wow. And that's the mom, the smaller one?
Yeah, that's like I don't know what. Like they don't know why the owls just came here. Just looks at them.
That's great, Christian. You made me realize, like, sometimes you open it up, your +1 becomes a whole new page, and it gives you a
Yeah,
whole new sense of scale, because suddenly
like
the owl's the big one and the parent is the small one.
yeah, like to me, it's like they don't know what the heck they're looking at. They're just looking at like, is it a monster? Does it want to eat?
Cool. That's a
It
great
doesn't
owl.
It looks more curious than menacing, but those are some sharp talons on it, so it's very ambiguous. Yeah,
Hmm.
delightfully ambiguous.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. I love that owl. We'll go back.
I love that surprise of, like, all right, 6 panels of a rolling egg. I think I see what's coming with this. And suddenly there's a talking bird, and suddenly there's a parent child, and like it totally changes. And then the owls. Another.
So Marek, thank you. This was fabulous. Opening the space again. I love that phrase. It really helps feel like comics is less, it's less about like having an idea and sort of forcing it out, and it's more about sort of allowing something in, you know? I love
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that way of
And
phrasing.
asking that question, like, what's missing here?
Yeah.
I thought I knew what this story was, but what if I widen the lens or zoom in a little, and what have I missed that could be another whole other dimension to the story?
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
great to see how everybody does that.
I'll put those links in the chat one last time. You want to hold up some of your books for us so people can know um, that they need to go order books 1 through 3 and
Yeah,
Kickstarter for?
yeah, swing by. I have minis from volume 1. I have volume 1. I've got volume 1 through 3 already. But if you want to swing by the Kickstarter, it's on till Sunday. This is the only copy of volume 4 right now. So this is my marked up proof copy. But by the end of the year, we'll have a big batch of these going out to backers. And you can get them for reduced prices, and you can get the whole series if you don't know the series.
Yeah, I
And
really
it's
try.
drawn entirely, I should say, it's drawn entirely from letters and diaries and sketchbooks and photographs. So there's a lot of primary sources in there. And it gives you a sense of the history.
Awesome. Thanks so much. It's so nice to see you. As the days get shorter, it's nice to connect with you. Something about you and New England. I know you're just up there in New Hampshire, but it's nice to connect. And you keep saying in the chat you're coming down to Rhode Island soon, right?
I am in November. I'll be down for a few days, so I'll maybe we can do like a little in-person get together.
Yeah, give me and Martha some heads up, and
Let's
we'll
do that.
try.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's such a treat to draw with everybody and to see everybody's artwork. I hope you're all finding those 20 minutes a day to intensely document your stories and and then share them with people. Share
Love
them.
it. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute and give you a round of applause before you go clean your kitchen.
Thank you very
Thank you, Marek,
much.
so much.
Thank you so
you,
much.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, Merrick.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you for being here.
This was fun.
Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome.
All right. Night, everybody. Have a good
Forever.
good
Night.